Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
Governor Beverly Perdue presented her State of the State address to a joint session of the General Assembly Monday night. She outlined items of her proposed budget that include lowering the corporate tax rate from 6.9% to 4.9%, while offering more robust incentives for small business. The governor also plans to pay for every current state-funded position in public school classrooms.
The leaders in this room tonight have a decision to make. You can invest in our students, or you can cross your fingers and hope for the best. It's plain and simple. We all understand that we face a $2.4 billion deficit. The cuts have already begun, and so is the debate over where to cut more and more and more. I've made deep and painful cuts, and I want you to know that I will listen to any suggestion for cutting waste, for finding savings, and stretching our limited resources. But there is one thing I will not do. I will not sacrifice our children's future. We cannot eliminate teachers whose job it is to build that future and the future of this great state. Now, you all know that I love history, and I read a lot of history. And if you read the history of North Carolina, you will find that no governor or legislature in our history has ever walked away from that core responsibility. I refuse to be the first. Tonight, you've heard me. You've heard me talk about what makes this state so great. You've heard me talk about our capacity to change, our toughness in the face of adversity, our relentless ability to reinvent ourselves and to keep on going when the going gets tough. You've heard me praise the leaders that came before us, who made conscious choices to invest in our children and their future. And you heard me talk about my priorities of creating jobs and educating our children and transforming state government. Hear me now. I will not back down from those priorities. I will not play partisan politics. I will reach across the aisle day after day to find compromise. I will sacrifice some of my goals if it means protecting our children's education and growing new jobs for our people and for this state. I challenge you to do the same for our people, for our state, and for our children.
Senate President Pro Tem Phil Berger delivered the Republican response to the governor's address. He says he is uncertain how Governor Perdue can carry out her proposals.
Though the policies championed by the governor and Democratic lawmakers may sound appealing, they have proven ineffective, irresponsible, and costly. The result, North Carolina has the highest taxes in the Southeast, nearly 10% unemployment, and a record high multi-billion-dollar deficit. Republicans have a better plan. While Democrats think government is the answer, we think it's largely the problem. We heard the voters last November. Government must get out of the way if the private sector is to prosper. And government simply can't continue spending beyond its means and expect a different result. Instead, House and Senate Republicans are passing legislation that empowers citizens to make their own decisions about health care, create their own wealth, control their own education, and pave their own way to a brighter future. To help foster an environment favorable to job creation, we have taken steps to scrutinize outdated rules and regulations that unelected bureaucrats impose on our businesses. Those businesses need and deserve the freedom to innovate and profit. To attract the best and brightest doctors and give citizens the ability to access quality health care, we have started crafting common sense medical malpractice reform. To help you protect your property rights, we will pass a moratorium on forced annexations. To give parents more of a choice in their children's public education, we will pass a bill to eliminate an arbitrary cap on public charter schools. Governor Perdue promised the tax hikes passed 2 years ago would be temporary. We will keep her promise because the best economic stimulus we can provide is letting people and businesses keep more of their own money. Reducing those taxes will help us compete with surrounding states for much-needed new jobs. Finally, we have begun tackling next year's budget gap by targeting hundreds of millions of dollars in savings now. And we have given the governor the power she requested to make additional cuts that will carry over into next year. These savings help ease the pain ahead while protecting the jobs of school teachers and state employees. We are making all of these efforts because we understand what government should do. Provide the basics, like roads, schools, and public safety. And we understand what government should not do. Tread on your personal freedoms.
Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.